About 20 years ago, the American Academy of Pediatrics began a program called Back to Sleep. And that Back to Sleep program said if we sleep babies on their back preferentially, they will reduce the incidence of sudden infant death syndrome. And that, in fact, has been the case. We've taken the incidence down almost by 40 or 50%. However, at the same time, we've also seen a rise in the incidence of positional molding, children with misshapen heads. And while the incidence of sudden infant death has gone down 40 to 50%, the incidence of misshapen heads has gone up approximately 600%. So how does this happen? Well, with the Back to Sleep program, that means if you count naps as well, that child will be on his back, that infant will be on his back, somewhere between 10 to 14 hours a night. In addition, during this same period, we've had a rise in what we call containers. So babies go in a car seat. They go from the car seat to the crib, to the stroller, to the swing. So the amount of time that they're spending on their back in a given day becomes quite prolonged. And this prolonged supine positioning is really the essence of what causes the problem. The way we handle that problem is a multi-specialty approach. So in our clinic, we have a craniofacial surgeon such as myself, we have a nurse specialist, we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, and orthotics. Those are all supported with some new technology called the STAR scanner, which allows us in 1.5 seconds to capture a detailed three-dimensional model of the child's cranial vault. From that model, we can see exactly where the problem is and, as importantly, the severity of the problem. If need be, from that data, we create a detailed model. This is a dense styrofoam model. And you can see, looking down from the top, that this child is flatter on his back left and bulgy on his back right. This is called plagiocephaly, meaning flat head. Another typical presentation, again looking down from the top, nose would be here, back of the head is here, is a child has a flattening just straight in the back, and they are short front to back. When that happens, the brain has to go somewhere, and it tends to flare out and becomes wider side to side. This is called brachycephaly. Now, if need be, on about 1/3 of our kids, we end up putting them in a helmet.
He was only, I think, 3 months, and we noticed that he was having a hard time turning his head to the left. It was kind of locked to the right and down a little bit. So we tried to put toys on that side, and he wasn't able to turn, in that direction. So we took him to our pediatrician for the next visit, and she agreed and recommended that we start some physical therapy. Well, we were doing the light therapy. Come here, buddy. And we were noticing that it was helping, but it wasn't fixing the problem by any means, and that I think it's called plagiocephaly was setting in. The back right side of his head was getting progressively more and more flat. So we were concerned about that, of course, then also with the fact that his range of motion really wasn't improving terribly dramatically. So friends of ours actually had a daughter who had a similar condition, and they had worked with Dr. Vicari in the past, so we went with their recommendation and wanted to go to a place where we knew the doctors were skilled enough to handle it. So, Lucas has been wearing the helmet for about 2.5 months now, and there's no question that it has helped. It was really overwhelming as a parent. You worry about everything, and to think that your child is going to have to wear something on their head like that 23 hours a day was really was really a scary thought. And the first 2 weeks were a little challenging to get him used to it during sleep times. Awake times were always fine. And after those first 2 weeks, it was just like it had always been there. It didn't bother him anymore, and the results have been tremendous.
It's important to remember that a team approach with the appropriate education to the families can reverse this trend, and for many, many of these children solve the problem with nothing more than some home education and perhaps some physical therapy. In those few children where this isn't sufficient, we can go to a helmet and still take control of and solve the problem.